Have you ever wanted to know the meaning of life? Well, I think I figured it out. I thought about this a long time. And I think the meaning of life, I think, is to live forever. Because if you die and you cease to exist, your life is meaningless. Isn't that obvious? I'm just stating the obvious. If you die and you don't exist anymore, you can't have any more fun. And so, what does that make you? You're a loser. Anyone who's ever died is a loser. It's like a person who got kicked out of the party, right? Life is the party, and if you die, you get kicked out. While everyone else is having fun, you're a loser, in the ground, being eaten by worms. I think it's kind of obvious that I'm right. I've thought about it, and people don't want to admit it, okay? People don't want to admit the truth because then they would have to be upset. They would have to fear death. People would do anything not to fear death. That's why people create they have to create a fake delusion that gives them comfort. Oh, there's going to be a God that's going to save me. Oh, there's going to be an afterlife. Oh, there's going to be whatever. Reincarnation. All of this stories that people tell themselves. It's just a way for them to cope with their own death so they don't have to fear it. It's pathetic. The truth is painful. And I recommend that you embrace the truth because the truth can save you. It can set you free. If you start to fear death, if you're doing what I'm saying, if you admit that life is meaningless if you die, which is the truth, that honest people would just admit that. It's not like I'm, saying anything that should be refuted. That's just obvious. What's the point of going through life, getting old, and then dying? Everything, people think that their life has meaning if, they had a family. Their life is meaningful if they can have good relationships and enjoy time with their friends and family. That makes their life meaningful. No. Your life is going to be meaningless the moment you die. That's why the best thing we could all do is to try to cure aging so that we don't have to die. That's the real wisdom there. I recommend you take that wisdom and you put it in your heart and you devote your life to helping the cause of ending aging so that we can all just live forever. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great just to live forever and not have to worry that your time is going to come to an end? That you're going to be forced out of the party of life? Wouldn't that be great? Life is a horrible nightmare because of aging and because of death. That's what makes life sucky. Otherwise life would be awesome. I can tolerate pain and suffering and all of the stuff that life has, but I cannot tolerate death. That's the one thing that should not be tolerated. Because if you die, it's a game over forever. It is there's no coming back. It's permanent. This is serious. This is why the meaning of life is to live forever. I've said it. That's it. I mean, you gonna argue with that? Who out there is gonna argue with that? How can you say that life is meaningful if when you die, it's all over and everything you ever did essentially doesn't matter anymore because you're dead. You can't even remember what you did. What's the point? What's the point? Life is meaningless if you die. It's so obvious. People want to live in their fantasy delusional land of thinking their life has meaning when it doesn't. It doesn't if you die and cease to exist. And this is the horrible truth that I am telling you all because I love you. I tell you this truth not to just make you angry and upset and depressed. I tell you this truth because I want you to share in my suffering. When you figured this out, when you think about it, when you like me, I thought about this a lot. When you figured it out, it's depressing because you have hope. You have hope in living forever physically. But that's also, it's very hard goal. And you realize that it might not happen for you. And that sucks. And it causes stress and it causes pain and emotional suffering. But you know what? It's worth it. Because if you're smart, like me, you can take all that fear and the pain and the suffering that you might not live forever, that possibility that you might not live forever and your life might be meaningless. You can take that pain and you can harness all that energy and you can use it as fuel to try to live forever, to try your hardest to live forever, to make it so that you're not a loser. Nobody wants to be like one of those losers that are dead in the ground. They're all losers. And I know that some people will be like, "Ooh, you shouldn't be calling all those people losers because there was good people that died." Yeah, they were cool when they were alive. But now what? Now look at them. They're losers. They don't get to have any fun. They're kicked out of the party permanently. And if everyone that dies is a loser, I'm sorry. That's just the truth. I'm telling you the truth so that you don't end up like one of them. Well, there you have it. That's the meaning of life. And if you don't admit that to yourself, it's because you're lying to yourself to make yourself feel better. To make yourself feel better with your temporary existence. Or you're creating some fantasy like heaven or the afterlife or some God that's going to rescue you. But really, there's never been a proof of any of those things. So, there you go. That's my message to you. The meaning of life. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. All you people out there. It's obvious. I'm not a genius for figuring this out. You could have figured it out too if you just thought long enough. People don't want to think about it. They don't want to think about death. They don't want to think about these thoughts because it's uncomfortable. They want to be plugged into the matrix. Well, unplug yourself and you realize that, whoa, life is a horrible, sucky, hellish nightmare, and we have one hope, the hope of living forever. And without that hope, we are nothing. Our life was meaningless, and there is no hope of anything good in this world. If you all you do is die and cease to exist, it's pointless. And don't even try to pretend for a moment like that is meaningful at all, because it's not. I don't care what kind of things you leave behind. I don't care your legacy. Doesn't matter. It's pointless. So there. Whatever. Am I going to see you? I'm going to try to live forever. I'm going to try my hardest. And I'm going to try to bring some people with me. Because that's what a loving person does. They don't just try to live forever themselves. They try to bring some people with them. They want to bring some awesome people. That's what I'm going to try to do. Bring as many cool people as I can to live forever so that we can party in the future and have fun forever. And if you're not going to be there in the future, I'm sorry. You're a loser, and I don't want you to be a loser. I want you to be a cool person. And cool people live forever.